I've noticed this trend that more and more women going to the gym, sweating, pounding it out, and dropping the
hmm
weight.
I agree with you, Corinthus. I see so many more women that are getting strong for themselves. It's not to
Yes.
fit into a bathing suit. It's not to be a different size. It's to feel the confidence that strength, physical strength, but also
Yes.
mental, spiritual, and emotional strength brings. And let's face it, as we get older, we are a lot more emotionally resilient
Mhm.
and sort of spiritually connected.
What if that thing holding you back isn't your body, your age, or even your bank account, but the weight of waiting? Today on a conversation, y'all, I'm sitting down with Holly Toscanini, a powerhouse midlife coach, podcast host, and author who traded her diet culture for real confidence and turned her story into a business that helps women stop shrinking and start showing up. Have you ever felt like it's too late to reinvent yourself or to launch that brand? This episode will flip that belief on its head. Hey, let's get to the conversation, y'all. So I'm just going to go to it. I'm going to swing for the fences. So
I'm here for it. Let's do it.
take us to that moment that you said, you know what? I want to start a podcast and coach. Like, what was that thing that triggered you from that pivot from traditional weight loss to this
Mhm.
intuitive coaching method?
When I was in my 40s, I was let go from a job that I thought was going to be my life.
Mhm.
I was
Okay.
working for a cosmetics company. I had been involved in the health and beauty industry for a long time. And I had this sort of deep conversation with my mother. And she said, I think the thing you need to do is focus on connecting with more people. And
Oh,
she's the one who sort of opened the door for coaching to me. And
okay.
I went in and I got my life coaching certification while I was in this period of sort of what am I going to do next? And that really was the first step in me deciding that it's not just about doing it for yourself. It's about holding the door open so other people can do it too. And that's what really attracted me to coaching. I spent a lot of time doing research and educations and certifications. And at the same time, I had always sort of had this real issue with body image. Uh, like a lot of women, feeling like you're never quite enough because you don't measure up to whatever the current standard might be.
Mhm.
And so I took my love of coaching and my desire to control my body and said, I'm going to coach weight loss. I am going to show people that they can do this, period. So I got more certifications. I became a personal trainer, a nutritional consultant. I shifted from just life coaching to getting additional certifications in wellness coaching and health
Okay.
coaching. And I started working for a corporate health coaching
Oh,
business,
wow.
transitioned into working for a doctor in private practice who did weight loss coaching. She didn't do surgery, but she did nutrition and medications. And then I started working for insurance situation out here on the West Coast. There's Kaiser Permanente, and I worked for them as a health educator in their weight management program. So I have a cumulative, I don't know, like 15 to 18 years of just coaching weight loss. And I thought I had the answer. I mean, I had strict diets, I had calorie counting, I had medications for appetite suppression, and I had a whole community that we had created around controlling ourselves, controlling our appetite, our weight, our desires, our cravings, calories, steps, all of this.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't until after my divorce, which came right after COVID and menopause and all these other fabulous things that were going on at the same time, that I realized weight loss coaching is a great business model because you've always got repeat clients, but it's a lie because it never delivers on its promise of permanent, lasting, sustainable weight
Mm.
loss. And it's not just because it's hard to stick to a diet, but it's because metabolically and physically, our bodies were not designed to lose weight and have fun at it. They were designed to maintain weight, right? I mean, and as you try to get smaller, your body fights against it. So while it was great for having repeat clients, to me, it just didn't feel like it had integrity behind it.
Okay.
And that's when I got involved with this idea of a non-diet approach to health and happiness and was introduced to intuitive eating and body image, body acceptance, and coaching around just being okay with who we are and understanding why we do what we do. And that it's, really decades of diet culture that have conditioned us to be a part of this system that ultimately fails us. Go
It was
ahead.
like 5 things I want to action
Yes.
about that. What made you, when you did the podcast, right? And
Mhm.
I'm going back there. What made you target women
Mhm.
during this midlife term? And it's interesting that you said that because my wife, she tells me about menopause and I'm learning. Okay. And
Good for
then,
you.
and then there's the weight and trying to take it off and manage the
Mhm.
weight and all these different things that they have. Um, you know, what's misunderstood about that audience when it comes to weight
Mm.
loss and
Great
maintaining
question.
it? I mean,
Wow. So that's a terrific question. And it's got so many layers.
okay.
And, it's funny because one of your podcasts, you talked about asking the right questions. And I think
Yes.
that is a good question. That is the right question. Because, for a very long time, I mean, this didn't happen overnight, right? I mean, all of us can remember our parents, maybe even our grandparents, our aunties, all of these people, all these women in our lives constantly on diets are talking about how they needed to change their bodies for some reason to be healthier, to be sexier, to be more happy, to be more confident. And the truth is, we were sort of sold a bill of goods on what it meant to be a valuable, worthy, intelligent, desirable woman. And we were told it meant controlling your body. And what's so sad is that so many women spent their entire lives, I mean, from young adulthood, even preteens, all the way up until midlife or menopause, believing this lie that they were somehow not worthy because of the way
Hmm.
their bodies looked or because they were getting older, all of these things that we were told. And one of the beautiful things, and this isn't just about women, this is about men too. One of the most beautiful things about getting older, I'm almost 59, I'll be 59 this summer, is that you don't care anymore. I mean, you get to a point where you're like, I'm kind of over it.
You know
You
what?
know,
You know what?
I,
It's funny when you hit 50, for some reason, everything goes out the window. And you're
yes,
just like,
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
don't care
You know,
anymore.
You don't. You don't care anymore. You don't want to hear it anymore. You're over it. All of those things apply. And all of the wisdom, all of the patience that we have learned to have,
Hmm.
all of the steps that we have learned to take and the dances we've learned to do around making people happy and doing whatever it takes to make people happy. Women especially have become people pleasers and we're the good girl and we don't want to upset anybody, we don't want to rock the boat. And after 50 you don't care if the boat capsizes, you don't care if somebody runs into a wall that's now your boundary, you just don't care anymore. And that is one of the most liberating feelings there is. The challenge is that you've got this barrage of advertising and social media telling you that one, you're old, so you're irrelevant, you're invisible, and whatever it was you thought you had to say, nobody wants to hear it. And then you're also told, God, menopause, that's not sexy. You need to have the body you had in college or high school or before babies, or nobody's going to want to date you if you're single. Nobody's going to want to know you. Nobody's going to pay attention to you. So we have this like multiple things stacked up against us.
Uh-huh.
And if we can just get to a place where we start to believe that we don't need to earn our worth to live our purpose, that we need to learn to trust our gut, our intuition, and just drop the guilt and start now. Even if things feel a little messy, you just got to start.
You know, I'm glad you said that. And I've noticed this trend. Okay, guys, I'm talking to you. I've noticed this trend that more and more women are actually in the gym working out. They're not using medication. They're not
Mhm.
doing anything. They're not eating this crazy diet. They're
Mhm.
just good at doing good old fashioned going to the gym, sweating, pounding it out, and dropping the
Mhm.
weight.
And even if they aren't getting skinny, they're getting so much stronger. And let's
Yes.
face it, as we get older, the things we need to pay attention to are balance,
Mhm.
flexibility, and strength. Because if you trip on a crack in the sidewalk and fall and you don't
Oh,
have any of those
it's
things,
brutal. It's brutal.
you're getting a hip replaced.
Hey, after 50, anything, doom. Oh my goodness, what just
Exactly.
happened? Only I did, I just
And I,
tripped.
I agree with you, Corinthus. I see so many more women that are getting strong for themselves. It's not to
Yes.
fit into a bathing suit. It's not to be a different size. It's to feel the confidence that strength, physical strength, but also
Yes.
mental, spiritual, and emotional strength brings. And let's face it, as we get older, we are a lot more emotionally resilient
Mhm.
and sort of spiritually connected and definitely more just intellectually intelligent than we were in our 30s or 40s.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, it is. Like I said, I've started to know that I've noticed this a lot lately. How did you come up with the name? How to lose the weight? Like, not okay, we'll
Good
do
question.
like, how did you I mean, it's so packed, it's so power packed. Like, how did you come up with that name in particular?
Yeah. Well, when I first started my podcast, it was called Say When. And the tagline was, if you've had enough, say when. And I was talking with some friends of mine, and we were looking at something somebody had posted online and laughing about it. And it was yet another one of those 30 pounds in 30 days weight loss things.
Mhm.
And, how to lose the weight, meaning physical weight, was sort of the be all end all of everything that we were seeing. And I started laughing and I said, it's not the physical weight, it's the waiting. It's the waiting for perfection. It's the waiting for the right relationship or the right financial situation or the right job or the right education or the right circumstances. It's the waiting, WAIT, that's holding us back, not our physical weight. And so I shifted and changed the podcast to How to Lose the Weight, WAIT, so that women could learn you don't have to wait for everything to line up to start doing things. And it's part of the whole just do it messy philosophy that I've developed that, you don't have to have everything perfectly and aligned. You don't have to have everything set up exactly. You have to have a burning desire to have a different life. And then you start from there. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just
I
have to get started.
I tell people that all the time. When I do business consulting, I said it's not about being perfect. It's just starting. That's
Hmm.
half the battle. Right?
Absolutely.
That's 95% of the battle. You can catch up
Yeah.
everything else. You just got to start.
Well, and the thing is, no one, women or men in midlife, don't need to wait until they're perfect before they start living fully. We're
Yes.
already at this stage in our life, we're whole, we're brilliant, even with our so called flaws. So, one of the things I do is just show my clients that they can have the lives that they're meant to live by reconnecting to that higher wisdom or intuition, whatever you want to call it, that part of you that knows there's something bigger than just being a person with a bank account, that you have something more to give by building that self trust and taking bold action without apology, which is another hard part. But the goal really is to empower people to stop holding back and to take up space visibly and energetically.
I love this. I love this. Hey, I just turned 54. You know what I realize? I
Mhm.
know how strong I am. I know my limits. Where before you just did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now
You did.
and now I know my limits. I know what I can do. What can I push myself to do? I have that understanding now.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of these journals that you have. You have journals, you have guides, you have
Yeah. Yeah.
let tell me about how do you fit these into your program when
Well,
you're
I've
coaching?
always been a big journaler. I have,
Okay.
and I'm not perfect. I mean, I got some that are like half full and some that have started in the middle and then some I hid away and forgot about. So I'm not like the perfect day to day, Dear Diary kind of journaler. But what I am is someone who likes to talk through things. And praying is one good way to talk through things. Reconnecting to that higher wisdom is a good way to talk through things. And what I find really helpful is to just put my questions on a piece of paper and then give myself the time to do free writing. I don't think about it. I don't edit it. I don't
Okay.
censor it. I just write whatever comes through. And then I close the book and put it away. And I might come back a day or two later and read what I wrote. And I know that whatever is coming through is divine. And it is not just, me complaining. It might start out with me just complaining, let's be clear. But the end result is always insight and inspiration that I truly believe isn't just from me. It's from my higher power. And so using journals to reconnect with that part of yourself that is wise and that is infinite and that is loving is really critical because there's so many things going on in the world. We need a space where we can feel like we can say what we need to say, that propels us forward in ways that just sort of random chats with your friends may not do, or, ruminating where we're just kind of going over problems over and over again. If you can get it out of your head and onto paper, then things can become clearer. And then you can really start to make some changes for yourself and maybe even for the people around you.
You know,
Yeah.
I want to talk about the business side.
Mhm.
Well, not necessarily business side, because now it sounds like you're having fun doing your podcast. So
I am.
people
I
just,
do.
you're having fun and people just happen to pay you for you to enjoy yourself and doing your
Exactly.
podcast. And
What's
they
better
might,
than that?
I know, right? They buy a journal. Hey, they ask you to coach. Look at this. They pay me to do this. That's great. When you're switching gears, how did you get into the mindset of say, okay, well, I'm going to do this podcast. I'm moving away from here, and I actually want to make this like my thing. How did you make that decision to like, how am I going to monetize this 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 thing that I love to do, that I love to help
Mhm.
people with via your podcast, via your content? How did that all come about?
As I mentioned earlier, I really understood that I had spent so many years of my own life just waiting, waiting until I felt like my appearance, the way my body looked, the way I looked was good enough, until I knew enough, until I had the right marriage, relationship, whatever. And I understood that waiting to feel confident, waiting for the perfect time, waiting for someone to give me permission wasn't getting me anywhere. And I reached a point where I knew that I was no longer willing to compromise or to shrink or to settle for something less than what I knew I deserved. I had already gone through the whole diet culture thing and the people pleasing thing and the good girl thing that so many of us have, especially women, have internalized. And I saw how it kept me and my voice disconnected from my worth and my intuition. So it wasn't just about my own healing, but this desire to create a safer space for other women that might feel like I did, sort of stuck and with nowhere to turn, that didn't tell them to go on another diet or take up another exercise routine. Especially women over, 40 or 50, like I am, who've done everything right and still feel like something's missing.
Mm.
Um, I really want to work with these people who are ready to stop waiting and start living. And starting my online business wasn't about financial freedom or chasing success. It was really about being able to speak my truth, because coming from a world of fitness and personal training and diet culture to this place where I didn't have to do that anymore felt so liberating.
Oh,
It
wow.
felt so freeing to be able to speak my truth and build something really meaningful. And I really believe women should start to reconnect with themselves and rewrite their next chapter with this newfound courage and confidence. And it's not too late. It was never too late. So now I get to show other people, especially women in midlife, that they don't have to wait either.
Your role in this community that you built,
Mhm.
is this a community that you constantly are reaching out to? Like a membership where people sign up, they get more information, more content, just to, how to feel better, how to look at things, how to approach things now that you're in this age of, I call it the
Mhm.
age of freedom. Because I say once you get to 50, you just like, I'm free.
You've got that whole I don't care anymore attitude.
Exactly. 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 Do you find attracting people to your community hard, or they're just out there waiting to talk to someone like you or to hear from you?
I feel like there are kind of three groups of
Okay.
people. There are the hardcore, I am never going to stop dieting. I am always going to feel like I'm never enough. Those are the women that are deeply ingrained in diet culture and they're never going to get out. There's just
Mhm.
something in them that will not let them believe that they're okay the way they are. And it doesn't have to be a lot of weight. I mean, I've had women obsess over 5 pounds, and I've had
Oh,
other people
wow.
that, had 100 or 150 pounds to lose and they weren't quite as invested. But there are those people that are just never going to let go of that indoctrination of thinness equals health, thinness equals perfection, thinness equals acceptance, right?
Mhm.
And then there are kind of on the other side, there are these group of women that are over it. They've never really been that engaged in it. They've always sort of thought, I'm fine the way I am. You can think what you want to think. And they just need somebody to help them figure out how to take all that positive energy and move forward with it. Most of the people that I interact with are kind of in the middle of that. They are ready to let go of diet culture, but they're afraid. What's going to happen if I stop eating 1,200 calories a day or whatever their obsession is? Am I going to be this person that I don't recognize anymore. And through practices like intuitive eating and body acceptance, what I help them see is that it's never been about your body being wrong. It's about being taught coping mechanisms that allowed you to use your natural cravings, your natural hunger to regulate your emotions, and then being told that was wrong. When we
Oh,
start to look at foods and people as good or bad, like there's some foods that we consider good, some we consider bad, and you are a good or bad person because of the foods that you eat or the choices you make, all of that confuses things. So when you can let go of this idea that I can't have something because it's bad, and you give yourself permission to have whatever you want, there's this sort of period of, I don't want to call it backlash, but you kind of go, woo, I'm going to eat all the Oreos, right? And maybe you do for a couple of months. You're just like, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Your weight might change. But after a while, you realize that I'm using Oreos here. So
oh
sorry for
yeah, no,
the branding here. I hope nobody from Oreo
no
gets in trouble
problem.
with me. Um, but what happens is you realize I don't have to eat the whole bag. If I want an Oreo, I might have two, I might have five, but I'm probably going to be okay with just a few. I don't feel the need to devour the whole thing because I'm being bad. You have this new freedom around, if I want it, I can have it. And it's okay if I don't finish it. And that gives you a whole new look on life, on relating with people, on relating with food, yourself, your body. You start to tune in to the cravings your body has, not as bad things, but as information. What is my body telling me I need right now? Maybe it's an Oreo, maybe it's broccoli. Who knows? But the point is, when you listen, you start to respond and have this conversation with your body that gives you permission to live your life without restriction and without deprivation, with this sense of understanding and compassion for yourself. And, anybody who looks at intuitive eating as a way to lose weight is going to be really disappointed because it's not about controlling your weight. It's about giving yourself permission to be in attunement and alignment with your body in a way that is natural, a way that doesn't feel like a struggle, and a way that gives you a sense of peace and grace to let go of all of that craziness and put all of the energy you spent trying to control your body into living a life that actually makes you happy and joyful.
I can actually relate to everything you just said. I started on a weight loss journey. One day I woke up, I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And I did exactly what you did. I did the
Mhm.
hardcore diet. I was good for about a month, but I was miserable.
Mhm.
I'm looking at the refrigerator. I'm like, oh my God, I want an Oreo. I want a honey bun, some ice cream. So then I stepped back and I said, you know what? I know what I need to do to lose weight. And it's not this hardcore program.
Mhm.
I need to be able to have it here, see it. And if I want to indulge in it once in a while,
Mhm.
have I can have a scoop of ice cream. But I found that when I eliminated it, I ate more.
Yes,
When I
that's what
stopped bringing it
happens.
into the house, I'm like, ooh, you go to the store, I'm gonna eat one. You eat the whole
Mhm.
bag. But if you
Mhm.
actually have it here and you tell yourself, all right, it's okay to eat a couple, even though it's right there, you begin to change your mindset on how you treat food.
Absolutely. And one of the things that people gloss over is that maintaining a weight that's healthy for you, whatever weight that might be, it
Yes.
doesn't need to be a specific prescribed number, but whatever's healthy for you is about so much more than just what you eat. It's about, how happy are you? How
Mhm.
well do you sleep? How do you manage stress? What are your relationships like? Do you have a sense of something more than you, a sense of spiritual connection to something else? Do you have ambitions and dreams? Do you have connection? None of that has to do with calories. It has to do with maintaining a holistic sense of health and well being that makes it possible for you to feel safe and supported in a community where you can also give back. Because I don't think all people want to take all the time. I think it's fulfilling on so many levels to be able to do something for somebody else without expecting anything in return. So when you look at all of those things, when you look at people who live in, food deserts where they don't have a lot of grocery stores, it's just convenience stores and gas station supermarkets and things like that. You can't compare their life to someone who lives in a community that's economically affluent that can get organic whatever on the fly delivered to their home. It's just not the same. So expecting all people to adhere to the same level of health is ridiculous. You've got to figure out how you can help people in need and how you can support that community in a way that makes them feel like they are capable and they're not kind of taking handouts, like they're taking care of themselves. But you can't always do that, right? And so if you live in a place where there aren't a lot of opportunities, there's not a lot of fresh food available, what are your options? You feel bad about yourself, or starve yourself, or you just go eat whatever and, don't worry about it. So I think there's got to be a better system to support people who are not in economic areas where they can get healthier foods. But there's also got to be a lot less stigma and, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like that sort of, it's your fault. It's not your fault that you look the way you look. It's your environment. It's not you. Nobody wakes up and says, I'm going to be as unhealthy as I can possibly be today. Well, at least I don't know anybody who does. Maybe there are. But my point is you need help, and it's not always the help that you're given that's the help that you need. If you're told to restrict your food, but you've got nothing but fast food around you, what are you supposed to do?
Mhm.
So understanding that it's not just our responsibility to keep ourselves healthy, but I think it's our responsibility to keep our communities healthy as well. And when you can look beyond calories, you can do that.
I totally agree, because in some neighborhoods, nationalities, fried foods are norm.
Yeah.
If the only thing that you know and everyone else knows is fried foods, being able to change how do you moderate that
Mhm.
and still feel good about yourself and trying to stay in shape, it's hard. But
Mhm.
there is a way. It's hard, but there is a way, and you have to sort of kind of figure that out. And I'm
Mhm.
glad you said it's not about the calories. Everyone, oh my God, everyone says, "Oh, how many calories you put in? It's how many calories?
Yeah.
It's calories. It's calories. It's what you eat. It's what you eat." No, that has some of it,
Yeah.
but a lot of it
And a
is how
secret.
is the way that you think, is how you think
Exactly.
about food, and then what weight feel comfortable to you.
Mhm.
So
When I think about fried food, I don't think about anymore. This has been a shift in my thinking, but I don't think about, oh my God, that's bad. I can never have it. I think about picnics and barbecues and family outings. I think of special times. I think of fun things.
yes.
And the truth is, just like the Oreos and the honey buns and the other things, when you look at foods that are maybe culturally significant to us,
Mhm.
you cannot take those out. If I were to tell someone who ate rice every day that rice was a carbohydrate and it was bad for you, and now they can't have it, they're not going to stick to that diet for very long, because that rice isn't just a carbohydrate. It's every meal they've ever had. It's their mother, it's their grandmother, it's their grandfather. It's cultural, it's community, it's ethnicity. So we really need to be careful when we start demonizing certain food groups. And I like fried food just as much as the next person, and will have it as often as I possibly can. But I'm not just eating fried food because I know it's a bad food and I shouldn't have it and I've got to do it in secret. When we do have whatever it is that we have, it needs to be a celebration, because food is more than just nourishment. It's comfort, it's celebration. Sometimes it's grief. There's a
Mhm.
lot of different things that go along with eating that are overlooked and not really made a part of this conversation about food and health. And so when I think about things like emotional eating, it's like emotional eating is not a bad thing. It is a natural response, because what happens when we eat food? We have more serotonin, our dopamine levels rise. So when we're eating, it's not because we're stupid or because we want to be bad. It's because in that moment, food is going to make me feel
Feel
better. It's
good.
going to
Yes.
create a shift, right? Like some people unfortunately get that from alcohol or from drugs or cigarettes, but a lot of us get it from food.
Food. Yeah.
And food doesn't have to be in the same category as alcohol, drugs, or cigarettes. But my point is that when we learn why we do it and we know how to use it appropriately, it can be very effective. And it doesn't have to be the thing that we are afraid of or told is bad.
Now you got to tell everyone about how to contact you. Like, people need to know, how do I get to her right now? How do I get to Holly right now? So
Exactly.
I want
Well,
you to, I want to tell about your email address, your
uh-huh.
website, your podcast, the book, everything. I'm gonna let you go for it.
Thank you. So, if you are interested in anything I had to say today, you can find me in a few different places. If you're on Instagram, you can find me at Holly Toscanini. My website is Holly Toscanini. And on Facebook, it's Holly Toscanini. So, it is so easy. You can even spell my name wrong and you're still probably going to find me. If you're interested in the podcast, it's How to Lose the Weight, and it's WAIT. And you can find me on Apple Podcast, Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the good places. You can also get on my email list and get a copy of Activate Your Intuition, which is a book to help you reconnect with that part of yourself that maybe you've lost touch with. Or you can download the Intuitive Pivot Planner. And this isn't about overhauling your life overnight. The Intuitive Pivot Planner is about taking small, meaningful, soul aligned steps starting now. It helps you get honest about where you're stuck and what you're really waiting for. It helps you get clear so you can reconnect with what you really want. And it shows you how to take action. Even one small aligned action can make all the difference in the world.
Now, I just want you to know that's the best infomercial I've ever heard before.
But wait, there's more. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you know what? I'm going to have you back to talk more about this whole thing about health, fitness, and about how food works in your body. Because most people don't
Wonderful.
understand that. Most people think it's
Yeah.
just I'm on a diet, but you hit some points where people don't understand that when you're hungry, what does that
hmm
mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
then
would love to have that conversation with you. I have so many good books to recommend for anyone who is interested in learning about how diet culture was born, kind of
Mhm.
where it came from and why it's not good.
Hey, we want to thank Holly for being on the conversation. And so our tagline is without the conversation, we can't have the understanding.
Thank you so much. I had such a good time. This was a great conversation.